People who have never smoked, drank, or did any drugs. How and why? Never had any interest. Alcohol tastes gross, cigarettes and weed smell gross, and I see no appeal in drugs. When you grow up seeing your childhood friend's addict mom abusing them, abandoning them for weeks at a time, and selling all their things for drug money, it gives you a pretty negative idea about drugs. Combination of just plain never being interested, but also actually listened when people said they were bad for me when I was a kid. I've never even tried any of the listed items. I've seen people smoke, I've seen people drink, and I've seen people high, and I have never once felt, I want to feel like that. None of it looks like a positive experience. I straight up don't understand the appeal of any of them. 36-year-old guy from the USA for context. Right on. I dated a Mormon and they feel their body is a temple. She had never smoked, drank, or done any drugs at all. Years later, after breaking up with her, I moved to a new town and my next-door neighbor was Mormon. Well, I had a very good understanding of the Mormon church, and we would talk about religion and things of that nature. I would always offer him a cup of coffee and he would laugh and decline. But one day he said, yes, I would like a cup of coffee, I've never tried it. I gave him a cup of coffee with cream and sugar, and this was the old days when you actually used a percolator and poured as many spoonfuls in the pot as you wanted, none of that measured stuff. And I made a real strong cup of coffee anyway. He drank the cup, and the next thing I know, he was rearranging everything in his garage, and he was spinning like a top LOL. The next day when I went outside for my cup of coffee and cigarette, he joined me and said, I'll never do that again. I woke up with such a headache and I didn't feel good at all, and we both had a good laugh. Cigarette smoke destroys me. I can't stand it all, even since I was a kid and all my uncles and aunts would smoke. In high school, some kids, the bad ones with awful grades, started doing it. But I was kind of pretentious and snobbish at that age. I was thinking they were pathetic and used their addiction as a way to feel superior. Also, the smoke gets stuck in my clothes, making me feel itchy. I tried alcohol in my 20s. I didn't like the taste at all. I was so confused, like, that's what everyone is crazy about. Crazy for chocolate milk, though. I grew up with the motto that drugs are evil. It took much later to learn about medical cannabis and such. Still, I was never offered or have someone try to sell me stuff. I actually haven't even seen any kind of drug in real life. Maybe it's because I don't go to nightclubs, etc. I would never try it for entertainment, though. I'm too scared of not being 100% in the now, maybe when I'm really old or something. Simple. I've seen what it do. My father smoked since his teen years, and seeing him coughing his fucking lungs out of his body every few minutes, having yellow teeth and not having any cardio, always made me think that I will never do that shit even more, since the day little me discovered that my dad will probably die from cancer because of it. I drank alcohol, but most of the times it happened, it was an accident, like taking the wrong glass at a family gathering when I was a kid, and most of them are awful. So the only possible occasion of me drinking is when I do my beers tier list with my big brother. I know drugs destroy the life of people who do it, and 2 of my friends are badly addicted since they are 10 and 15 years old, so I know it's a really bad idea. I grew up watching people around me abuse drugs and alcohol and destroy their lives. My siblings, neighbors, aunts, and uncles. Even my grandmother having alcohol-induced dementia, and my grandfather dying in his 50s due to cigarettes and heavy drinking. I didn't want that for myself. I knew addiction runs strong in my family, and didn't think it was worth risking. Now I'm 30, happily married for almost 9 years, have amazing children, and a beautiful home my husband and I have built together. I've traveled and experienced more in life than any of my drug alcohol-using siblings, and unlike them, I don't have a criminal record or DUI. No regrets. Edit to add, I know a lot of people who started using drugs and then became woke, and acted like their eyes were open, and they were so much smarter since using drugs. But they also slowly started adding less and less insightful comments in conversation, started becoming obsessive about conspiracy topics that had more holes than a piece of cheese, and just became noticeably dumber. It's not a coincidence that every heavy alcoholic, drug-addicted person in my family is now a flat earther. Well, I don't 100% qualify in the sense that I will occasionally have a margarita at a restaurant, maybe once or twice a year just to be sociable. I could easily never do it. I did take a few puffs as a teenager just to see what a cigarette was like, but knowing I was never going to take it up. I've never done drugs ever. Why should I? How many lives has alcohol destroyed? How many drunk drivers and deaths? How many pregnancies with drunk couples? How many arrests and bar fights? How many millions addicted to alcohol who've destroyed their lives? How many want to quit smoking and can't? How many health problems have from long-term smoking? How much money wasted on cigarettes? How many millions of people addicted to drugs and who OD, and who've destroyed their lives and families' lives, abandoned kids, done prostitution, stolen, are disfigured from drug addiction? How many planned to get addicted going in? Didn't they just start trying it out and expanding to more and more stuff? Why the hell would I wasted my time and future with that crap? Why are other people foolish enough to roll the dice and gamble this stuff doesn't get out of control and destroy them? Why gamble at all? Just do the no-brainer guaranteed way. Just stay away from the stuff. Parents are doctors and don't do any of that stuff. It was never in the house and never glorified. I was never interested because I'm frankly fine with who I am and want to experience that. I'm not one for drug-related or induced wild experiences. I can get there just fine with my imagination. Agreed also on seeing other people do things under the influence and never having lamentations about what I was missing out on. To be honest, I went to the parties and played the games, and someone else just drank for me if needed. Beer pong. Never was impacted by it. Now I'm in my 30s and married and I've got plenty on my plate. I still don't need alcohol to relax though, as I often hear. I guess I just learned to cope without it. My wife drinks on occasion, but certainly no drugs in our house. Thanks for watching.